Hello YouTube, De-bodgery here. In a previous video I talked about my 3 battery packs, so the 24S 5P Life Pack, the 20S 4P LiPo Pack, and the 28S 1P LTO pack in here. And I also mentioned that I was seeing 500 battery amps. So anyway, I've got a few options that I want to talk about. So we're talking about batteries. First thing I want to talk about is this box. This is probably the best solution I've got, or one of the best solutions. So these are 21700 lithium-ion cells. This is the same cell that's used in the Tesla Model 3. And well, you can see there's a bunch, specifically 800, of which 500 belong to me and 300 belong to a friend. And I'll be building him a pack out of those after a while. So I've got a whole lot of these, and I got these for a ridiculously cheap price. Also, I had a bunch of these modules. Yeah, these were a steal. So these are Life A123 cells, and they're 2500 milliamp hours each. And these came out of a Prius battery pack. So the Prius battery pack, the one that comes in the car, is pretty pathetic. What, can you get like 6 or 10 miles of range out of it just running off electrics? And you put this in the back of the car in place of your spare tire or something like that. And so there was this extra module, so an extended range battery pack made out of life cells. And anyway, I've already taken a whole bunch of those things apart and gotten the A123s out of them. And as you can see, yeah, the A123 is significantly larger than a 21700 and only a little bit shorter. And it's 2500 milliamp hours, and you know, these are supposedly 5000 milliamp hour cells, but in testing I'm really seeing about 4300 milliamp hours. So, but you know, that's not testing to, you know, down to 2.5 and up to 4.2 volts. That's testing, like, say, from 3 volts to 4.1 volts. So, you know, I'm not really going to ever get the full capacity of the cells like the manufacturer says, but close enough. Still, I mean, just look at the size. That is a significantly smaller cell and significantly more capacity, and they both weigh about the same amount. So there's a pretty good chance that I'm going to be using a bunch of lithium-ion cells instead of A123s. But as you can see, I have a box full of those things. And all of those, and all of them that make up that pack, I spent like $200 to get all of them. And all of these, I got these for super cheap too. Yeah, these I paid $2.50 per cell. Isn't that an insane price for 21700 cells, you know, Model 3 cells, you know, Tesla Model 3 cells. Anyway, yeah, I've got a bunch of those I can use. So that battery pack is definitely going. And there's an exceedingly high probability that this life pack is as well. So I'm going to talk about the replacement for that life pack. Because I came across another extremely sweet deal literally last week. And that's these. So these are LG MH1 cells. They're 3200 milliamp hours, and they're 5C cells, so about 15 amps per cell. These are a mobility scooter battery, so they're set up for 36S4P, so in each one of these things is 12 amp hours. So right there, that is 20S 12 amp hours, and as you can see, I've got 3 sets of those. Alright, so these packs, you know, people think, oh, wow, you're buying used battery packs? That's pretty sketchy. These ones have a very interesting story. So let me talk about that for a second. You can see the BMS up here. It's underneath some really rubbery potting material. And obviously that one I've totally cleaned up, gotten down to the cells. The BMS on these things, you know, these are for your grandmother's mobility scooter, right? So you want security, you want reliability, and you certainly don't want DIY, you know, like I'm building. And you certainly don't need performance. You know, you don't need 70 miles an hour on a mobility scooter typically for grandma. She probably needs like 2, 3, 4 miles an hour and be able to go a ways. Anyway, the BMSs on these things, they're fairly intelligent, and the software inside them counts how many charge cycles the battery pack has had on it. And when it gets to some number, you know, it sends a signal up to the handlebars and says, hey, Grandma, your battery pack is aging, time to replace it. So, you know, probably like when it gets like to, I don't know, 50% capacity or something like that, you know, the software says, replace me. Okay. The problem is, though, is the guys that program the firmware, they screwed up. And these batteries, they get to 5 charge cycles and they shut down. So 5 charge cycles on these battery packs with all these LG cells in them, and then they're no good anymore. 5 charge cycles, that many, as many as my hand has, 5. So anyway, the manufacturer yanked them all out and put in new ones that didn't have the firmware bug, because as you can see, it's all sealed up. It's not like you can replace it easily. You know, it'd be much more work to do replacement than it would be to, you know, pull these modules apart, pull the BMS, do all the rewiring, all that nonsense. So anyway, they pulled out hundreds of these things, literally 4,000. And yeah, I bought a few of them. My first batch is 6 of them, and I have another 6 coming. I paid $53.17 a piece for these things. Looking at the MH1 online to see if I couldn't buy them. The cheapest I've seen these things for is $4 per cell. So my price is, well, you know, whatever it is. It's almost 1/4 that. And they're already pre-made. So let me talk about this one since it's kind of taken apart. This one, by the way, is defective. The BMS on it had some kind of a problem, and it drained all the cells down. All those ones, the cells are all, like, say, 3.5 to 3.8 volts. This one, because the cells were all drained down, I contacted the guy I got them from, and he goes, oh, don't worry about it, I'll send you another one, no big deal. So anyway, I've got another one coming, and this one, you know, maybe the cells will recover, maybe they won't, don't really care, because I'll have another one, so I'll have 6 of those. So let's talk about this thing a little bit more. Okay. So one of the things I did was there's kind of like a little wall right here that the BMS sits down inside of. I trimmed that off on this one and obviously pulled off the BMS. And then there was an insulating layer on top and bottom of this thing. All right here at this hole, you've got 5S that way and 5S that way, you know, 5S4P. And then the bottom, smack in the middle of that piece of nickel, you know, that's 5S that way, 5S that way. So very easy delineation for splitting this thing in half. And conveniently, this is 15¼ inches long from here to there. And, you know, half of that is 7 5/8. And this space right here, from this rail into the one that's underneath this bundle of wires, is 8 inches. So 7 5/8 will fit across there ever so conveniently. Little did I know when I bought them that it would make such a good fit. Also, this width right here will fit from here back to the back of the life pack, 7 of them across that space. I need 4 of them, i.e. that right there, to make 12 amp hours 20S. And then I've got, you know, basically 1.5 more of these further back. All I got to do is put another one on top, and now I've got, you know, 24 amp hours 20S, right? All right, so right there, you know, with that 4, which will easily fit in this space, I'm pretty darn sure of it, that's 24 amp hours in a space that right now has 12.5 amp hours of A123 cells. However, based on my, you know, measuring and fiddling around and things, I am pretty darn sure that I can fit all 6 of those, you know, chopped in half into that space. It's going to take some, you know, wizardry and playing around and stuff to get it to work. But that would get me 36 amp hours about of capacity in a space that currently has 12.5 amp hours in it. I don't know. Seems to me like that's a good plan. And I need more battery capacity. As I already said, I'm, you know, seeing peaks of 500 battery amps. I want to get 70 miles of range out of this thing, you know, on normal driving road, not on ludicrous mode. And I'm right now sitting at 50 miles, you know, just in moderate riding. So yeah, I need more battery capacity. This life pack, which is a month and a half old, 2 months old, yeah, 2 months old, it's going to get pulled just because it doesn't have the capacity. Yeah, I know, I've got a whole boatload of virtually free A123 cells that are in really, really good condition. They all test out at 2,500 milliamp hours, or pretty darn close to it. So it's not like they're bad cells, it's just that for the amount of amperage and capacity that I need, brand new battery packs have got to come out, and there's nothing wrong with this thing. It works perfectly. I just welded it up. It's doing everything that I want it to do, other than not being enough capacity. So it's going to get pulled. And then the same thing for back here, that LTO pack. That's going to definitely get pulled. And maybe I'll make another one of these things up to fill that space. But more likely, I will use those Tesla Model 3 21700 cells. Yeah, they're Tesla Model 3 cells. It's the same 21700 that's used in the Tesla Model 3. So I'll probably make a battery pack out of that. And then that will give me 2 Li-ion packs that have just an insane amount of capacity, and hopefully that will get me through. In worst case scenario, that LiPo pack down the side there will get yanked. Because those are used, they're not new. And then I'll build another one out of something. Maybe more of those, since those are so easy to work with. Literally, all I have to do is break them into pieces, 5S chunks, solder the wires onto them, and they're good to go. I don't have to do any welding, so it's going to be super easy to deal with those. Or, worst case scenario, the harder thing, and I have the welder. So what? Weld up a pack. I'm set. Well, anyway, this is De-bodgery saying, hey, all of you out there, stay away from that damn SARS virus. Don't let your body become sick with COVID-19. And I hope you enjoy your EVs as much as I am enjoying mine. Take care, good luck, and talk to you later.